JJ Star, you asked me a question prior about what it takes to be world class. Do you think that Tokido just woke up and was like good at the game? You know they practiced, but it's not just them practicing. How did they practice? Tokido is known for playing Street Fighter since he was a fucking child, bro. The way that people like Tokido got good was obviously playing a shit ton. Not only was he playing a shit ton, he was playing with other good players in arcades and in tournaments. He's had moments where he's gotten bodied. But I think the biggest example I could give you is like Daigo. No, I'm not talking about Evo Moment 37. No, I'm not talking about all the tournaments he's won. No, I'm not talking about the branding that he has. Look at Daigo when he streams. Have y'all watched one of his streams? I know it's Japanese only, so I know y'all don't understand shit. You don't need Daigo's book. You just gave Daigo free money. That's what that means. You don't need Daigo's book. You just need to see what he does when he plays. What that shows me is that you're dedicated to want to get better, but no book is going to tell you how to play. No book is going to give you like that click, like, oh shit, I know how to play. You have to play the game. But what does Daigo do when he practices? There's a video that I want to play. This video is probably really good for anybody that wants to understand what you got to do to be good at these games. In this video, later on, Daigo talks about, this aspect. Like, why is Punk the god? His reactions is more than just fast. How is Punk able to react so well? If you watch Punk the god, act like Punk, our Punk in America, if you watch him and how he played Street Fighter V, he is always doing single hit confirms. He's always doing that. He was known for that with Kerin, with low forward into fucking Tenko. But to be fair, Kerin's low forward in the first season had a lot of cancelable window frames. But even so, even now, he's able to hit confirm with Luke no problem, or with any other character he plays. So it wasn't just a fluke. Like, he's talented at being able to do single hit confirms and actually reacting to people. So it gets to the point in this video, is reactions the most important thing in fighting games? I'm not sure if important is the word, but when players keep grinding, they end up getting to the same level in terms of factors like combos, knowledge, and strategy. When you hit a certain level, a certain plateau, it's going to become difficult to differentiate yourself in these factors. Actually, you can still improve your strategy further and further. But this requires you to keep polishing your strategy. But reaction is something you have all the time. Reaction is like health in fighting games. If your character's health is 1050, then it's better than a character who has 1000 health. Just because your character has 1050 health, it doesn't mean that they're the best character. But if you compare your character to a character with 1000 health, then your character is better. Reaction is something similar. It doesn't matter what your opponent's character is. If you ask me what's the most important thing in order to win, I'd say it's knowledge. But knowledge is something that's going to be very difficult for a player to differentiate himself in from others. And I agree. I think so many players that want to get into fighting games, that want to be strong at fighting games, that want to improve in fighting games, that watch me or watch Punk or watch everybody else, they watch all these players and kind of live vicariously through them, and then ask themselves, why can I not be as good as these players just by watching them? And the point is that you just don't have the amount of knowledge that it takes to be good at these games. It's the matter of knowledge. You have to be able to do your research and practice and be able to learn all these different things. And it doesn't take hours of playtime to learn that shit. It just takes an hour gradually over time. Yeah, but you can spend an hour a day just learning something, or dedicating that hour to learning something important or practicing something important. Some people don't even grind all that much with fighting games. They just grind a little bit and they happen to be good and they're talented. But I wouldn't say or chalk it up to all talent. It's all about how they use their time and the knowledge that they had. So that's just how it is. People tend to think that oh man, this guy is just so good so fast. No, he spent his time to research. It's the quality of the grind. It's not the quantity. So that's why knowledge is such a huge thing. Because if I know something and you don't, I already win over you. If I know if I know something and you don't know something, I automatically will beat you because of that. Let's say I'm Chun-Li and I'm hitting you with my little funky animation looking stand medium punch, right? That looks like this, right? If you don't know that this normal is plus and you keep mashing, I'm going to get good damage off of that. I get a huge combo for that frame trap. And you're mashing on this normal every time. If you don't know that this normal is plus, I will capitalize off of that every time until you stop. I will do it every time and you will lose. But if you know that this is plus, then now there's a mind game to be had. Because now I know that you know that this is plus, so I have to think, how can I open him up if he's just going to keep blocking this all day? Do I want to do this into another normal and then drive rush and try to throw him? Do I want to just walk up and throw him and not even use this? Do I want to do throw after I do this normal? Do I want to shimmy him knowing that he might try to throw tech me because I've thrown him? You know, the mind game opens up off the fact that I have this normal that's threatening you. And you and I both know the value and knowledge behind this normal. And we know how we can actually gain respect and disrespect. You could say, well, I already know that this normal is plus, and I know that he knows that this normal is plus, but I'm going to mash here anyway because he thinks that I'm not going to press a button. So I'm just going to mash because he thinks I'm going to try to, you know, sit here and block it instead of just actually like throw teching or whatever. And he's going to actually get hit by my jab for trying to throw me, right? That's a matter of like respect versus disrespect in terms of fighting games, and not a matter of like, oh, I respect you as a person or whatnot. It's not about respecting another person as a person or whatever in the fighting game. It's about respect as in, do you respect the fact that this is plus or not? Do you respect that this normal is plus or not? Because we both know that this normal is plus. Are you still going to mash on this plus on block normal anyway, despite knowing that it's plus? And it's either the intention of, I'm going to do it because I know you're being disrespectful, or I know you're going to be disrespectful, or you just don't know. You just don't know. So that's what I'm saying. The mind games that establish themselves past that point is based on that knowledge. You can only have that type of interaction with other people if you have the knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge over this normal, or anything rather, then you're just at the mercy of the person that has more knowledge over you, right? Like, that's the most important thing. Like, if I know more than you, I am very likely to beat you in most situations. And that's just how it is. And that's where most players are just incapable of being able to be stronger at these games. It's just the lack of knowledge, because you can't get far if you don't know what you're fucking doing. You just can't against someone that does know what they're doing. And to amass that knowledge, it takes time, it takes practice, it takes research, it takes learning all these things. And for a fucking video game, most people don't want to do that. Most people don't want to sit down for hours on end and practice. Most people don't even want to spend an hour to sit down and practice something basic as anti-airing someone. They just want to get in, play with their friends, dick around, have a good time, etc. That's why the World Tour mode is there for you, to make your stupid Eldritch looking ass character, and then Luke can just body your ass while you play on Modern, and that's all good for you. You can have fun in that mode. But if you actually want to care more about the game, and the game will let you know that, because in Street Fighter 6 there will be points in the World Tour mode that will actively try to teach you fighting game concepts, and it's up to you whether or not you want to care about that shit or not care about that shit. If you care enough about that shit, then you can go and play people and end up actually fucking learning how to play the game. But if not, you can stay your ass in World Tour, you can go online and play people with your custom created character and sit in the fucking corner with the rest of the casuals. Because if you actually give a fuck about the game and the knowledge of the game, there's a heap amount of rewards for you at the highest level, and the game will open up to you. So it's really up to you whether or not you want to take that knowledge for yourself or not. It's up to you. You know, that's why Street Fighter 6 is going to be a great game, because it will separate people, but it will also allow people who want to be good, who have the desire to be good, but they're casual, to learn from what they're doing with their casual mode and transition. So, who do you think has the best reaction? Reaction means dynamic visual acuity, right? Well, people say it's Punk the God, and I don't think there are many who disagree with that. Boruto is good. his reaction is good, and Santoro is good, but Punk is great at reacting to many things at the same time. That's a key difference between Punk and the rest of these other players. We may shit on Punk the God so much on Twitter and tease him and say all this bullshit, but at the end of the fucking day, Punk is good because he can react to multiple things at the same time. He doesn't just focus on one thing. The mental stack is a big factor in fighting games because you have to worry about so many options the opponent is throwing at you. Reacting to drive impact, reacting to drive rush, reacting to the jump in. It's impressive that he's able to pinpoint multiple different things happening in the match and react to multiple different things at once. Do you think your reactions are good? No, I never thought I was good at that. I definitely would not be in those top 10 players with the best reactions. Notice that he said that his reactions are not very good as a player. Watch this. This is another video that follows up on this one. I feel like 15 or 16 frames would probably be my best reaction in matches, which is true because 15 frames is the peak reaction time for human beings. Roughly 15. You can't go any further than that. It's very difficult. So Tokido whiffs standing medium punch, right? With Akuma. And what does Daigo do? Daigo does sweep to whiff punish it. Really fast reaction, right? Standing medium punch is 7 frames startup, 14 frames of recovery. You have a total of 23 frames. When you see the startup of this move to the recovery, that's the total amount of frames you have to react. So it's 23. He's doing, of all things, sweep to whiff punish the stand medium punch. We're not even going to say that he reacted to the startup because that's just humanly impossible. He probably reacted to the total amount of frames, which is 23. And the fastest human reactions is about 15 frames. He did crouching heavy kick, which is 7 frames startup, right? So this is not something that you would do on a reaction. You would probably do this as a read, but the difference here, if we look, he only did a single button press. He only did a single button press. He's waiting for the button. You see? And that's the 12th frame that he landed it. I feel like this whiff punish is purely done by my reaction, but let's see the others. I don't know which one was 9 frames, but I feel like that was a random sweep and not my reaction. But for this one, I feel like I moved as if I was reacting to Tokido. But there's a reason to it. And he explains it. Yeah. 12, 13 frames is Daigo's reaction speed. In this situation. Keyword. Okay. 14. So it's not 13, it's 14. 12 to 14 frames. And this is the last frame you can punish his crouching medium kick. This is the last punishable frame. 12 to 14 frames is his reaction time. For this situation. Very key words I'm saying. For this situation. If y'all don't realize what he's been doing, this man, Daigo, will literally spend hours in his stream practicing these type of whiff punishes. This is what he does. If JJ Star, if you want to know how to be the best, this is what you do. Him reacting to things like that, like a fucking like low forward and punishing it on like the 13th frame, him doing like borderline inhuman ass reactions, this is what he does. He practices this situation constantly. So for the first situation, as you see here, the way Daigo is practicing this situation, Bison has V trigger. And his Psycho Axe, his down forward hard punch, is +1 on block, and he can also activate in the V trigger from it, right? This move, however, has so much recovery that if you V shift it, you get a punish. So what Daigo is doing is he's practicing between whether or not Bison will do Psycho Axe or dash. And every time he dashes, he does jab. Every time he does Psycho Axe, he does V shift. For Jury, anytime Jury tries to do a stock in this range, he's practicing sweep punishing it, because Guile's sweep is 7-frame startup and it reaches very far. So it's an easy way to tag the opponent for doing something as a whiff punish. So she's trying to build Fuha stocks. He says, fuck that. And anytime she dashes, check it with a jab. These are all reaction tests. And Daigo's like 40 years old. And he's not giving himself like multiple things. He's only practicing 2 things. He's like, I'm going to make sure that I am able to practice reacting to both of these options. So when it happens in a match, I don't have to think about it. My body just does it. These are the things you have to do to be good. And when you get older, it's going to get harder to react. See? He's practicing between the dash, the jump, and the forward fierce. You see that? Anytime he sees forward fierce whiff, he whiff punishes with crouching strong. Anytime he sees a dash, he does crouching jab. Anytime he jumps, he does air throw. And he's 10 for 10 for that shit so far. I don't think he's dropped it a single time. And you have to practice doing these things. You can practice it by playing in matches and eventually get the timing down for it, but it takes far longer to do that playing ranked matches than it does playing sets with people that will mix you up, and it takes even longer to do it from sets as opposed to just doing it in training mode. This is how you get to the world-class level. You have to have this much dedication. What do you think it takes to become a top-level world-class player? That's what it takes. Tokido goes the extra mile. He doesn't just practice. He literally put actuators in his button. So I use the same buttons that Tokido uses. And these are Punk Workshop buttons. These are low-profile Cherry MX Silver speed switches. They are exceedingly fast at response time. They have a low actuation point because the plunger is so small to the actual switch. And then the actual switch itself is like this. Whereas the plunger point is so small. The Japanese players literally are playing on buttons like these. And what Tokido does is inside the plunger, he will put a rubber stopper on it. The rubber stopper is to make it so that way it doesn't stay in the plunger. The travel distance is small, so he has access to the button press again. That is what Tokido has in his buttons. He has thought that far. He's also thought of like testing out different refresh rates on monitors. He is like dead ass a scholar. He's applied his scholar shit to playing fighting games. Like the level of research that he does. Everybody has their own way of practicing, but at the highest level, that is what players do. They will do what they can to make sure that they are ready for any situation. And it takes a lot of practice and dedication. Now, you don't have to practice for 10 hours a day. You don't have to stream for 12 hours a day. You could just, these dudes, they just play for 4 hours. You do know that, right? They only play for like 4 hours. They probably play even less. Sometimes Daigo will only play for like 2 hours. And then he'll play like something else, or like he won't play at all. He'll just end the stream. He doesn't stream that long all the time. He'll play maybe like 1 or 2 hours. But those 2 hours are spent with him sitting in training mode, practicing, playing sets with people, trying the things he's trying to like lab out. He doesn't spend that much time. A lot of people have the misconception that you have to spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours playing these games. No, you don't. No, you don't. And everybody learns differently. Sometimes, you know, for me, I like to play thousands of matches because that's how I learn. I learn through stressful situations, and then I naturally improve, and then I'll watch what other people do and improve through that too, and try it out on people. That's how I learn. But sometimes it's better to just take that shit into training mode and practice and test your reactions and better your reactions. And again, Daigo is like fucking 40 years old, so that should tell you something. So, and Tokido is also almost 40 years old as well. So, and he just recently won Topanga. So if you want to be a world-class player, those are the things you have to do. And it is not easy. It's not easy. Not everyone can do it. It's tiresome work. There are days where you're going to be like, I don't want to fucking do this shit. But as Muhammad Ali said, you know, you want to be a champion, you know, you gotta wake up tomorrow wanting to be a champion. And so the way you got to do it is you practice like hell now, so that way tomorrow you'll be a champion. You practice like hell now. You do and even with Mike Tyson, you do what people don't want to do. You discipline yourself. Discipline is doing what you don't want to do, but knowing you have to do it. So you don't want to sit down and practice and train for fucking an hour doing this reaction bullshit. You want to play people, but you also want to be good. You also want to get to the point where, yeah, I'm worth getting to the highest stage. Then you got to work. That's just how it is. And there are people that will be willing to do that, and there are people that say they want to do it and they'll never get there because they don't have that mentality or the competitive drive. And I've had this conversation on stream several times before in the past with numerous games, and people have wondered, how am I so good at these games? I'm not winning championships consistently, but I've done my fair share of work, and I've had my own accolades and accomplishments, and I will tell you, I didn't just get it from just playing. I put the work in. And a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people just want to, they want to jerk off to their favorite character, or fucking, they want to play with their friends or whatever have you. They want to have a good time with the game. And you can do that, but you don't get to do that. You don't get to dick around and mess around and then think that you deserve to be at the top spot with somebody else who's put the time and effort in. You don't get to just be like, I'm going to post memes on Twitter and mash buttons and fucking just play with my friends with custom characters and all this other bullshit and not actually put time and effort to learn what you need to do about the game. You have to put the time in. And if you don't put the time in, then you're going to end up in a fucking thread talking about how much you don't like the game, like everybody else. And everyone's going to shit on you and laugh at you. I mean, everyone's going to shit on you and laugh at you anyway, but I don't think you want to be laughed at and shit on and be bad and feel like you're bad too. It's hard. It is not easy to be a good player. It's not easy to be a top player. And then the worst part is that in America, you're not going to be given the same amount of respect as you would have if you were good in other regions of the world, like Japan or Korea. You're not going to be given the same amount of accolade. So I promise you, it's a hard fought road. And I have nothing but respect, even to the players that have blocked me on Twitter, have blocked me on all social media accounts that are really, Leffen, Cuddlecore, all those guys. Even though they've blocked me, I have nothing but respect for those people because they put themselves out there and they put the time and effort and work in to be good players. And that nobody can take that shit away from them. Not even me. I'm not going to take that shit away from you. Leffen, you still don't finish your fucking chicken wings, but you are a good player. You are a good player. I'm not going to take that shit away from you. So that's the point I want to just put out there. It's not easy to be good. Most people only wish to be in that spot, but they never actually put the effort in. So that's all I got to say about that. I know it's a long tirade, a long answer to that, but that's pretty much what it is. It was a long discussion, a long talk. I'll probably just upload this shit raw on YouTube because a lot of people want to see it on YouTube, so I'll definitely put it up there. This is definitely something that I feel people need to know because they think that being a top player is just hitting buttons, and it's not. There's a lot that goes into it, and I feel as though it's so simple to understand, but I feel like if you just see what is being done, it's not like any of these top players are hiding it from you. I'm not hiding shit from you. No one is hiding this shit from you. It is there. You just have to be willing to do the same amount of work. And if you don't want to do that, then you don't have to do it. But don't ask why you're not at the level you think you should be at. Anyway, if you liked the video, let me know down below in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think being a top player means. What your aspects are, or what your goals are with the game, with Street Fighter 6 coming out. And yeah, be sure to like the video and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this. You can check out all the videos that I watch on FGC Translated and FGC Translated Alpha, and the footage from Street Fighter right now for Street Fighter 6 is from Yoga Flame 24. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all be easy. Peace.